Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. I've got 5 of the best open-ear style buds here with me today, and my plan is to figure out which one is the absolute best. There is a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Now let's quickly see the 5 earbuds that made the cut. First we got the Cleer Arc II Sport, which comes in at the highest price point of $190, but due to its extensive spec sheet, it still delivers an excellent performance on the feature per dollar front. Next up is the Shokz OpenFit for $180, and for that money you get a very compact package with a big punch. I will explain all the details later on. But now on to the Oladance Wearable Stereo Mark II, which costs $170 as of making this video, and it adds some meaningful improvements to the original OWS buds I tested a couple of months back. The Halo Per-Free buds can bring some first-class build quality and premium materials to the table, especially with their $150 price tag in mind. But the cheapest earbuds in today's test are the OneOdio OpenRock Pros, as they only cost $130, and as you will see, these earbuds didn't cut that many corners at all either in order to keep that price down. And as you can see, all of the buds share some common traits in their design, and that's due to their open-ear nature. These open-style earbuds use similar dynamic speakers as regular in-ear buds, but these speakers do not go into your ear canals, but instead they project sound into your ears from the outside, leaving the ear canals open. And to keep the speakers in the right position at all times, you will need a secure fit, which is provided by these ear hooks. And there is also a battery compartment behind your ears, which does not only power all the electronics inside, but also acts as a counterbalance, stopping the earbuds from moving around during everyday activities and exercise. And after this short anatomy overview of open-ear style buds, now let's see how each of these guys can manage to make all this work in real life, starting with their design, comfort and fit. Spoiler alert, this is an easy win for the Oladance buds, but overall I have to say that all earbuds feel sturdy and well built. That said, I got the most premium feel from the Oladance and the Cleer Audio buds, with the Halo being right behind the other two. And these 3 are the most handsome in my opinion as well. Not that it should matter, but it does. And speaking of looks, the OpenRock Pro has a bit of this old plasticky Bluetooth headset vibe, but still, build quality is something I cannot find fault with. Onto the Shokz OpenFit, these buds might look a touch flimsy in comparison, but they are also the smallest and the most lightweight of them all. While the Arc II buds come in at just above 14 grams each and the other 3 buds weigh in at under 13 grams, Shokz was somehow able to pack all their tech in a body which weighs a mere 8.3 grams only. And that fact alone makes them one of the most comfortable too. But they are not the most comfortable, as in my opinion it is the OWS Mark II that gets top scores here. These buds are simply the best at making me forget about them in the long run, with the Shokz OpenFit being a close second. I would give the Oladance a score of 9.5 out of 10 and a solid 9 to the OpenFit. And while the others are comfy too, they all sit somewhere around 8. The Halo has the smallest clearance between the speaker unit and the ear hook, the Arc II has the strongest grip on my ears, and the OpenRock Pro has the thickest ear hook, so these can potentially cause long-term comfort issues. And even if these are only minor problems in my case, and you might not even notice them, it's all reflected in their lower scores. And while some of them have a memory wire and others use titanium in their ear hooks, all 5 buds have a soft, skin-friendly silicone coating on the hooks. And 2 of the buds offer a bit more than the others in regards to a customized fit. The OpenRock Pro comes with an adjustable middle section on its ear hooks, and the Arc II Sport has a rotatable hinge on its speaker units, both of which can probably accommodate different ear sizes and shapes more easily than the others. You could consider the extra silicone ear support socks you get with the OWS as a custom fit option as well, but maybe it comes into play with larger ears only, as I never felt the need to use them at all. And talking about ear sizes, I believe that the OpenFit is more than likely a better fit for smaller ears due to its size, and for the same reasons the Per-Free buds, the OpenRock Pro and the Cleer Arc II might fit medium to large ears better in general. And while on the topic of fit, it's more or less equally tight on my ears across all these buds, with the exception of maybe the Shokz, which probably due to its lower weight and the less rigid ear hooks, feel a touch less secure. That said, it's still more than tight enough for all sorts of physical activities I tend to use my earbuds for: running, cycling, some basic lifting in the gym, or yoga. And in general, for runners and especially cyclists, these types of earbuds are by far the best option out of all earbuds and headphones in my opinion, as they provide you with the best combination of situational awareness and sound quality. Each and every one of these 5 buds can pass the sunglasses, the bike helmet and the baseball cap test easily, so comfort and fit will not be a limiting factor on a bike or when you are out running or hiking. And when it comes to weightlifting or yoga, where you find yourself bent over or upside down at times, all the buds will perform admirably too. Not that the open-ear design is your best bet in a gym with loud music coming from the speakers on the wall, but laying down on the beach to relax for a minute is definitely a fitting use case for any of these buds. And while I'm not sure about you, I sweat extensively when working out, and on top of that, I live on the west coast of Ireland with loads of rain, so I find water and sweat resistance to be of utmost importance when it comes to earbuds that were primarily designed to be used for sports and outdoor use. And on paper, the IPX4 rating of the OWS Mark II is the bare minimum that is acceptable from that point of view, as it means only a basic protection against sweat, rain and splashes. Next up is the IPX5 rating of both the Cleer Arc II Sport and the OneOdio OpenRock Pro, which offers protection against low-pressure water jets in addition to splashes and sweat. The IP54 rating of the Shokz OpenFit, however, adds dust protection to the list, while it cuts back on water resistance a little in exchange. And the clear winners here are the Halo Pur-Free buds, with their IP55 rating, which combines dust protection with the enhanced level of water resistance. That's the theory, but during my extensive testing, even the IPX4 rating of the OWS Mark IIs proved to be more than good enough, and I got caught in heavy showers once or twice during the last couple of weeks. And while all the buds seem to handle regular active use pretty well, at this point I have to mention 2 things. 1. You should not submerge any of these buds into water, and 2. None of the battery cases are waterproof at all. Or should I call them carry cases, just to make it more inclusive for all 5 buds. And what I mean by that somewhat weird distinction is that while we have 4 earbuds here with a case that has its own battery inside as you would normally expect, Oladance decided not to add batteries to their own case. So it's not a battery case, but only a carry case which can charge your buds when the case itself is plugged into a charger. You can buy a separate battery case from the Oladance website if you want, but it will cost you an additional $50. And even with the lack of a battery inside, the Oladance case is only the second smallest in the group. It might be the slimmest, but only by a hair, and it's probably the most pocketable too, along with the Shokz case, but that rectangular black box of the OpenFit buds has a smaller overall footprint. The Oladance case shows a strong resemblance to those cases you might get for your prescription glasses, but nevertheless, the premium build quality and the excessive use of that bright orange color inside make it a standout in terms of look and feel. The Shokz case is made from premium quality plastic too, if there is such a thing, but it looks a bit boring to me. And while these 2 are the closest to being pocket-friendly, the other 3 cases are simply huge. The Halo and the Clear Audio cases have a somewhat slim profile, and while the former is made of aluminum, the latter comes with a nicely textured fabric coating. The only manufacturer here that used somewhat cheaper materials is OneOdio, and even if it's understandable given the price differences, what I cannot wrap my head around is the egg-like shape of that case. But at the end of the day, the case gets the job done of keeping the buds safe and charged, so that's all good. And so is the hinge, which locks in when the lid is fully open, giving you easy access to the OpenRock Pros. Oladance and Shokz have also used some springy but tight enough hinges on their respective cases, but Halo must have underestimated the strength the hinge needs. It simply cannot keep the hefty metal lid securely in position when fully open, so you have to tilt the case a bit backward to make sure it stays open while you take the buds out or put them back in. Cleer Audio was the only one that realized that a lid can open up all the way to almost 180 degrees flat, making access to the buds as easy as possible. Plus they put a UVC light in the case which can apparently kill some bacteria on your earbuds while they are stored away. And while the other cases don't have a UVC light, all 5 of them have a USB-C charging port. But this is the only option you get for charging, as for whatever reason, none of the cases in this test can offer wireless charging as an option. It might not be a deal breaker, but this design decision is at least questionable in 2023, especially with earbuds that cost over $150 or so. And against all odds, it's the most affordable OpenRock Pro buds, which have the best total playtime, and while the OWS Mark IIs can be found at the opposite end of the price range, they are the worst in that comparison, thanks to the lack of a built-in battery inside the case. But since Oladance improved the battery life of their second generation buds from 16 to 19 hours, it shoots them to the top of the single charge playtime rankings, sharing that spot with the OneOdio buds, with the other 3 being way behind these top 2. The OpenRock Pro also offers quick charging along with the Shokz and the Arc II, while Halo and Oladance must have overlooked that feature during the design process. So overall, I would say that OneOdio did the best job in the battery department, but the Cleer Audio case offers the best overall functionality and ease of use. Next up is connectivity. The OpenFit, the OpenRock Pro and the Per-free buds can offer a Bluetooth 5.2 chip, while both the Cleer Arc II and the Oladance buds come with a Bluetooth 5.3 compliant SoC on board. All buds are easy to pair and use with iOS and Android devices, all of them can be used in mono mode, and I did not experience any signal dropouts with any of them during my tests, not even in busy areas with loads of competing wireless signals. Where the differences lie is the audio codec support, multi-point use, and gaming. If you look at the specs, you will see that while both Halo and OneOdio support the regular aptX codec, the Per-free buds do not support AAC, and that makes them a better option for Android, as aptX will not work on an iPhone, and using SBC on iOS will not give you the best sound quality. And while due to their SBC and AAC support, all the other buds work well with both Android and iOS, the Shokz OpenFit is probably best to be used with an iPhone, thanks to its noticeable lag when watching videos on Android. Not that any of these buds were designed to be used all day long in a gaming chair, but your best bet and probably your only option here in terms of low latency would be the Cleer Arc II with less than 100 milliseconds of latency. And these buds are clearly the most future-proof too, as the Arc IIs are the only ones that support both the aptX lossless codec and Bluetooth LE audio. Neither of these two features are easy to find on today's source devices, but with the latest generation of Snapdragon chips appearing on the market, this is going to change soon. And while others will have to physically update their buds with the latest hardware in order to keep up with these never-ending changes in codec support and wireless communication, Cleer Arc II users can rest assured for a little longer, knowing that they got all that sorted already with their actual earbuds. On to multi-point use, aka the possibility to connect your buds to 2 devices at the same time, it is supported only by the Oladance and the Cleer Audio buds. Switching between 2 devices is quicker on the OWS buds, but interestingly enough, when you start media playback on your second device, it won't pause playback on the other one. But the switch in sound happens in an instant, and automatically too, without you having to pause your first device. On the Arc IIs, you have to pause playback on the first device before starting playback on the second, as the switch will not happen automatically, and it also takes a second or 2 to get sound on the second device. But besides these minor differences, both solutions work well, and they are both platform agnostic, meaning that multipoint will work with iOS, Mac, Android and Windows as well. Another good news is that the aptX codec, or at least the aptX adaptive codec I have on my Sony Xperia phone, remains enabled on the Cleer Arc II in multipoint mode. All things considered, this round is clearly won by the Cleer Audio Arc II Sport. And if I want to get ahead of myself a little, I would say that so is the next round, which is controls. But before we get into the details, I want to tell you that if you want to compare the microphone quality of these earbuds, then you will have to watch the separate video I just made with audio samples from the mics on all 5 earbuds. Now, back to the controls, we can find touch-sensitive panels on all earbuds except for the OpenRock Pro, which comes with physical buttons only. But the per-free buds are somewhat unique too, as they can also give you a plastic button along with a touch panel on each side. This setup could offer the best of both worlds if the execution was correct, but in fact this is my least favorite out of the 5 buds when it comes to media controls. Halo limited the use of the physical buttons to control volume only, and the touch panels are a bit of a hit and miss in terms of accurately registering your taps. And you cannot remap the functionality in a smartphone app simply because there is no Halo smartphone app. Another manufacturer without an app is OneOdio, but at least the physical buttons work much better on the OpenRock Pros across all scenarios, and they offer full functionality too. Out of the other 3 earbuds with both touch controls and app support, let's see the Shokz OpenFit first. With these buds you get a limited set of functions due to the fact that only the double tap and the tap and hold actions are enabled, forcing you to choose between certain functions. You either get full volume controls or track controls, but not both at the same time. And while you can play around with these settings in the app and the touch panels register your touches quickly and accurately, I don't think that this kind of a limitation in functionality is acceptable in this price range. So if you want to see a better, more comprehensive solution for touch controls, have a look at the Oladance buds. Single, double and triple tap are all on offer, plus we get a slide up and down action for volume. This swiping thing is not my favorite though, especially during an exercise, as it registers as single tap sometimes, but at least you have the option to change the functionality around in the app, and you can even disable certain tapping actions completely. All I miss here is some better accuracy and a somewhat more reliable use, especially during an exercise. And that is exactly what you can get from the Cleer Arc II buds, on top of all of the custom settings and full functionality. Reaction times are fast, accuracy is top-notch, and thanks to their large size, the panels are easy to locate and use even during an exercise. And you also get motion sensors in the buds, which can enable some head gestures if you want to control certain functions on your earbuds without touching them. And all that makes the Arc IIs the winners of this round again. But before moving on to discussing the smartphone apps, there are another 2 things to mention here. First is the omission of smart sensors from each and every earbud in this test. And since such piece of a hardware would be essential to get automatic play and pause, we will not get that feature with any of these buds. Second is the fact that you can turn the Halo, the OneOdio and the Cleer Audio buds easily on and off using their buttons and touch controls only, but you will need the charging case at hand at all times with the Shokz and the Oladance to do that. And now on to the software side of things, let's see those smartphone apps. Well, Halo and OneOdio don't have one, so that leaves me the other 3 to talk about. Shokz do offer app support on both Android and iOS, but other than the limited custom control settings, you only get a 5-band manual equalizer and some sound profile presets. And that's pretty much it. Of course, the software update feature proves to be handy in the long run, as since I've been using the Shokz earbuds, I had at least 2 updates already. Onto the Cleer Plus and the Oladance apps, we get full custom touch controls, EQ presets, manual EQ settings, a quick user guide and firmware updates with both. What Oladance has to offer on top of all that is a left and right volume balance slider and a hearing protection mode, which monitors the use of your earbuds and makes changes accordingly to protect your hearing in the long run. A new feature in the Oladance app is Body a Bud, which can pair 2 standalone buds so you can use them as one pair. What Cleer Audio has added to that basic list of features is an auto-off timer, which turns off the earbuds if there is no active connection. There is also a step counter and a sedentary reminder, both of which take advantage of the motion sensors built into the buds. And those 6-axis motion sensors can also enable the use of the already mentioned head gestures, and we got an anti-loss reminder, which beeps in case you drop one of the buds without noticing it. And whether you find any or all of these features useful during everyday use or not, it's hard to argue with the fact that in terms of sheer functionality and customization, the Cleer Plus app is the winner of the three, with Oladance being a close second. And let me preface the sound quality analysis by saying that due to their open-ear nature, the sound of these buds, or rather your perception of that sound, can greatly vary from person to person, as even the tiniest difference in the position of the speakers can change it dramatically. I realized it first when I was playing around with the flexible hooks on the OpenRock Pro, and at some stage I ended up with a completely unbalanced sound between the left and right bud, so I had to carefully adjust the hooks to make sure both speakers are located in the same position relative to my ear canals on both sides. I only hope that makes sense. Another factor that can influence the sound quality is the audio codec, and since we have some variation in codec support between these 5 buds, I decided to use the best available option on each, so we can get an idea of what to expect from any given bud in a best case kind of scenario. So due to their aptX support, I tested the Cleer Audio, the Halo and the OneOdio buds on Android, while I used my iPhone and AAC for the other 2 buds. My source, however, was Apple Music on both platforms, and I tested all earbuds at around 70 to 80% of volume, except for the Cleer Arc II, which I had to turn down quite a bit to make them sound equally loud. So yeah, it means that the volume comparison is won by the Arc II. But it's not just the maximum volume that we have to take into account when talking about sound quality now, is it? So let's see everything else. And since I know that bass is something that you all care about big time, let's start there. The least powerful bass comes from the per-free buds, as there is practically no bass impact we get there. The OWS Mark IIs deliver a tight and controlled bass, but again, extension is not the best. Next up is the OpenRock Pro. The bass here is more tactile with a rich tonality and a more hefty body. The Cleer Arc II can deliver even more power and dynamics at the bottom octaves, but to me it's the OpenFit which sounded the warmest, the richest and the most powerful in the low end. One note here is that I got some distortion from the OpenFit buds in the sub-bass region at higher volumes, and overall I felt like the Arc II has a wider dynamic range and a much cleaner output at much higher volume levels. But at normal listening levels, I loved the bass the most on the Shokz buds. And I can practically say the same about the mids. Well, Oladance is up there too when it comes to natural and full-sounding vocals with a great presence, but due to the lacking upper bass, everything and everyone sounds a touch thinner and less sweet on the OWS Mark II. And talking about thin-sounding mids, well, the Halo buds definitely fall in that category too, and if we add the boxiness to that description, then we quickly realize that again, the per-free buds are my least favorites here. Between the Arc II and the OpenRock Pro, I prefer the more forward-sounding mids on the OneOdio buds, which puts them in third place right behind Shokz and Oladance. In terms of treble extension, detail and sparkle, we get a lot of it from the Halo buds, but since the rest of the frequency range is rather lacking, it only makes the sound of the per-free buds bright and harsh. The Cleer Arc II can serve up all the details in the highs, but we get a smooth roll-off towards the top end, which reduces the brightness, which, with the extreme loudness in mind, is a good thing. The top 3 in this category are the OWS, the Shokz and the OpenRock, with maybe the OWS having the most complete package, offering both details and energy in the highs without ever getting overcooked or harsh. The Shokz buds sound a touch warmer maybe, while the OpenRock Pro is brighter, but the differences between the 3 buds are so minuscule here that when you are on a bike or out running, you won't be able to tell them apart as far as treble quality is concerned. Onto the sound stage, it is wide and spacious on the OWS, the OpenRock and the Arc II. It's the most diffused on the Halo, and the imaging is the most precise and focused on the Shokz OpenFit. Maximum volume is by far the loudest on the Arc II, followed by the Halo and the Oladance, with the OpenRock Pro and the OpenFit being the last two in that regard. As far as privacy and sound leakage, I would rank the Shokz OpenFit as the best, meaning it produces the least amount of noise that might bother the people around you in a quiet room. The Cleer Arc II and the Oladance buds are probably the worst in that regard, with the Halo and the OneOdio buds somewhere in the middle. But with all the possible volume and dynamic range differences in mind, your experience might vary, of course. On top of sound leakage, all earbuds produce a certain amount of a hiss with an active wireless connection as well, but that's the least noticeable on the Shokz and the worst on the OWS Mark II and the Arc II. So overall, in terms of sound quality, I would give the gold medal to Shokz, no questions asked. Best bass in the business, with great mids, detailed highs, a well-focused image and minimal hiss. Where the silver medal goes, on the other hand, is not that straightforward. It can either be the Oladance, the OneOdio or the Cleer Audio buds, and the order between these three might depend on whether you prefer the sweeter mids on the OWS Mark II, the better bass extension on the OpenRock Pro, or the sheer dynamics and volume on the Arc II Sport. And if it wasn't obvious enough, Halo is a step behind all of its competitors when it comes to sound quality. And considering everything else I talked about in the last 20 or so minutes, I would say that the Halo Per 3 buds can only get the last place in this comparison. They offer advantages over some of the more expensive competitors, such as aptX support, the metallic case, or the overall beautiful design of the earbuds themselves, but the subpar sound, the lacking controls and features anchor them to the bottom of my list. Next comes the OpenRock Pro. These earbuds offer you the best bang for your buck for sure, and also the best battery performance along with some musical talent, and some of you might say that these are the best deal by far. And you are not wrong. But there are a few things that put me off. I don't like the strange case design, and even though the earbuds fit my ears perfectly out of the box, the adjustable ear hooks can cause some frustration if you change their angle by accident, which can happen apparently. But again, you get tremendous value for your money here. And it's announcing the podium places where I find myself in a bit of a trouble. There is the Shokz, the Cleer Audio and the Oladance buds, and each of them could end up taking any spot in the top 3, depending on your personal preferences and use cases. On my list, however, probably ignoring a bit of everything we talked about so far, but considering how I use these earbuds myself, the Oladance Wearable Stereo Mark IIs take the win. And before I explain why, let me tell you that if you want the most balanced sound quality and the biggest punch in the most compact package, then you should choose the Shokz OpenFit. And in case you want the most comprehensive and future-proof set of features, along with that popular dynamic V-shaped sound signature, then clearly you should get the Arc II Sport buds. And while you won't find either UV sterilization or aptX lossless support on the Oladance buds, when I ask myself the question of which earbuds I'm most likely to pick up when heading out on my weekend long run or bike session, more often than not, the answer is the OWS Mark II, with the Shokz and the Cleer Audio buds being my second best options only. And that should matter a lot in my opinion. And while after all the testing I did, I know that the Oladance buds are the best fit for me, your preferences might be completely different, of course. That's why I will leave it to you to do the cherry picking of features and options that suit your needs the most, and at this stage, I can only hope that I provided you with most of the information you might need to make a somewhat educated buying decision. And this was my take on the 5 best open-ear style buds. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you liked the video. I'm working on some other comparisons, including some of the best headphones for swimming, and there is also much more content coming your way, so subscribing to the channel would not only be much appreciated by me, but also necessary for you if you don't want to miss out on all that. Of course, I would like to hear your take on these earbuds as well, and if you still have any questions left, feel free to comment away. Thanks for watching everyone, see you all in the next one.